You're welcome back. In this particular video, I would love to talk about two major things: attributes and images, right? So I'll try in our usual fashion, I'll create another new file and I'll call it images. Oops, don't let me do this. I didn't do it well, don't save. Alright, inside here, I want to create a new file. I'll call it images.html as usual, and so we have that there. So I'll create our basic structure by saying doc and I'll do that there, and I'll say images here. So we have this setup. So what we want to do now is find a way to get images to appear here. So the first thing I want you guys to do for me is look for any image of your choice. You can download an image of your choice and bring it inside this particular folder where your file lives. Don't forget, I said bring it inside this particular folder where your file is. For me, I chose this particular images. The name of the image is called frontend.jpg, and that's what I'll be using. That's what I want to add to my screen. And of course, you can see my image.html has been running here. So I'll just open with, and I'll say Chrome, and it will definitely appear here, but nothing yet. So I'll go back to my code and I want to include that particular image. So now the tag I'm going to use is the img tag. Now before we talk about that, don't forget this tag is an example of empty element tag. But before I clearly talk about images, I want to talk about what is known as the HTML attribute. So what are HTML attributes? So attributes allow us to add extra abilities, extra characteristics, extra properties to our HTML tags, right? Let me repeat. Attributes allow us to add extra characteristics, extra properties to our HTML tag. By so doing, increasing the capability of that particular HTML tags. And attribute is always included where the tag is being opened, right? And attribute always comes in this format. The name of the attribute is equal to, in quotes, the value of that particular attribute. Now in this particular case, the first kind of HTML attribute that I'll be treating would be what the src attribute, which is the source attribute. And some attributes are peculiar to some kind of tags. For example, this source attribute is one of those attributes that is peculiar to the image tag, and we could also see some other HTML tags like the script tag, where we also use source to call in our JavaScript. But in this particular case, we are using the source tag as source attribute as an attribute to the image tag to enable us link our image tag, right? And in this particular, the value of this particular source attribute, that's what is going to come inside here, is going to be what we call the file location. In other words, where is this particular image located inside of our system? Now in this case, because we brought it inside that same folder, that means it is located in the same folder, and it is called frontend.jpg. So what I'm going to do now, I'm just going to throw in a dot sign and / there. Now the reason I started with a period sign, it's normal because the dot sign, or what we call the full stop sign or the period sign, tells us that okay, I want us to start from this exact directory, as this exact folder, and VS Code will come up with this particular hint here and it asks us what particular file do we want to link, and I said I want to link the frontend.jpg, and you could see that it is including the extension as well. So the moment I have the extension, I'm going to save it. I'll go back to my browser and I'll refresh, and you could see that I have this particular image inside of this particular place. Now in cases where, let's say there's another folder, in cases whereby you want to arrange your files very well, that you have another folder and you have this image inside of it and you want to actually run it, right? And you could see that the image that will link is no longer inside the same directory anymore. So if I come back here and refresh, you could see that the image cannot load. It's showing me that okay, it cannot load this particular image. Now this will lead me to talk about another image attribute that I want to share, which would be the alternate attribute, right? The alt attribute is the value of the attribute is a text that will show whenever the file location is wrong or that image refuses to load. In this case, I want to say front end, right? Let me just type front end web development. So this is the text that is going to be shown when this particular image refuses to load. And this particular text as well is also good because, like Google now, use it for search engine optimization to read and to understand what the image is all about. So that being said, the next thing I want to do now is to try to correct this particular stuff to ensure that my image is actually working, right? So I'm going to go back, I'll enter my / again, and in this time around I want to go inside my images tab, and I'm going to get my front end file. Now, one thing you want to observe is that whenever you're trying to link a particular file, you want to ensure that you type the name of the folder. If the file is inside a folder, you type the name of the folder first before you get the name of the file. So let's save this and see if everything is going to work out fine. I refresh and everything is also working out fine. Now, I want to treat two more kind of attributes before we round up this particular video. Now, the other attribute I want to treat is the width attribute. So with the width attribute to the image tag, this can allow us to determine the size of this particular width. And this size have two major units. We have the px, that is the pixels, and we have the percentage, right? So let's say now I want this stuff to be like 200 px, right? I'm going to say 200 px, no, not percent, 200 px, right? And if I refresh this right now, you could see that the image will reduce in size to be exactly 200 pixels, right? And if I want to increase the height as well, I can say height, which I hardly use whenever I'm working with image. If I say 500 px, right, it's going to try to extend the height of this particular image to be 500 px, right? So, but I don't want to use the height right now because the height is making the image more distorted and not responsive. So I'm going to take out the height. So another unit I want to talk about is the percentage, right? So for example, now 100% is the highest, right? So that means if I use 100%, I'm simply saying that, okay, look, I want you to occupy the entire screen or the entire width of that particular screen, which is 100%, right? Or let's say 50% if I wanted to occupy like 50%. And the good thing about using percentage is that it allows our image to be more responsive. Don't worry, we'll also get to responsive designs, and we're going to talk more on responsive designs later in the future. But using percentage also allows us to create more responsive images inside of our document. So thank you guys for watching this particular video where we'll discuss about attributes, image tags, and attributes. See you guys in the next video.